Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following along my little tribe I'm trying to grow here. I'm driving home from work. I totally meant to vlog today going to my appointment, but I ended up not being able to do that, and I'll talk about why in a second. But I did go to my baseline appointment today. I just wanted to mention quickly that yesterday I went to my very first acupuncture session, and acupuncture hurts. Nobody tells you that, but it was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't severe or whatever. You just gotta stay super still. It's freaky. It's kind of weird, but I did that. It was all fine. I'll probably do it like once a week or so. And then today I started cycle day 1. We rewind to yesterday. Yesterday I was so stressed. So everything was done. Legal contracts, HIPAA releases, transportation contracts, everything was done for the embryo, my donor embryos to be transferred here. Just to recap, we have 2 grade A embryos that we adopted from a beautiful couple in Utah, and we need to have them transferred here. Everything was good. Then their doctor, Mormon doctor, says he will not release the embryos unless he speaks directly to my embryologist. So I set that all up and they speak. He says that the embryos were not FDA approved. At first that sounds kind of freaky, but it turns out it just means that the couple did not do certain testing, like STD testing, before they did their IVF, because they're a married couple and they're exempt from that testing that maybe a sperm donor would have to do, or I had to do because I was using a sperm donor, or any kind of donor situation. So I was like, oh my god, freaking out, because the embryologist had to talk to my fertility doctor to see if we could approve that. So I was really nervous. But then I got my cycle today, and I was already out in that area where my appointment is. My fertility doctor is a 2-hour drive from my house with no traffic, and we live in Southern California, so that's LA traffic, so always more than 2 hours to get there. And so I was like, ooh, maybe if I call them, they'll let me come in on cycle day 1 instead of cycle day 2 for my baseline ultrasound. So I called them, and they're awesome. They're like, sure, come in this afternoon, we'll squeeze you in at 2:30. So I was with one of my staff that we were traveling together, going around in LA doing work stuff. So I'm not gonna vlog with him in the car. That's just weird. So I had him drop me off at the clinic, and then I Ubered my way home. And he drove back in the company vehicle. That's irrelevant, I guess. But anyways, got to the appointment. The waiting room was kind of full, so I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be here for like hours. But there was another couple in there that was transferring, and they just had like a lot of energy, like nervous and excitement. And I chatted with a lady for a few minutes, and I was like really excited for them, but then I like got nervous as hell. I don't know, for them, for me, both, I guess. When I realized that the last time I was at the clinic was like 4 months ago, when we transferred our last set of 3 embryos that did not take. So I don't know, I was a little bit nervous, like, oh my god, this shit just got real. So anyways, luckily they took me before everybody in the waiting room. Amazing. So I went back there. He did the vaginal ultrasound with, famous old Wanda. My lining is still 15. That's because I just barely started my cycle. So everything looked good. No cysts, no problems. Good to start our embryo transfer month. So crazy to say. But I asked him if he had spoken to the embryologist to approve the embryos coming, since they weren't FDA approved. And he said, oh yeah, he mentioned that. But you're not going to use those embryos right now anyways, right? I was like, actually I am. He's like, why? You have 4 embryos. I was like, yeah, the 4 embryos that the embryologist told me are basically no good. Like I don't even know why they froze them at this point. And he's like, well, don't you already have a child? And I was a biological child. And I was like, yes, I do. But she's almost 11, which is why I'm assuming that why my eggs are no longer good, is that they're 11 years older now. And he's like, well, don't you want to have a genetically related child to you? And I was like, that's actually not important to me at all. I have adopted children as well, so that doesn't matter to me at all. And so he just looks at me and he's like, why don't you just save those for next time? And I still pushed it. He's like, why don't you save those next time if this one doesn't work? And usually I'm very intimidated by the doctor, this particular doctor, which I don't know why. I'm never usually intimidated by people, but I was like, doctor, having it not work is very traumatizing for us. So it might be easier to say, oh, if it doesn't work, just use the other ones. But I don't want it not to work again. It's traumatizing for it not to work. So we're trying to avoid that. So he's like, okay, get dressed and come to my office. By the way, in my last video, I completely left out a chunk of fertility stuff between my miscarriage in April and now, which was my doctor made me go get my right tube removed because I had a minor hydrosalpinx in that tube. So I had a surgery May 17th, have my right tube removed, and they also found like a humongous cyst on my right ovary that they removed at the same time. Anyways, he did check with me that I got that done. I was like, yeah. Anyways, moving on, we go into his office. I voice recorded it, but I'm not super good at editing yet. Obviously, I'm not good at all. I haven't even started editing. I just do one takes, or else I would insert some of that, so I'm going to summarize it. So I get in there, and he's like, everything looks good. I'm looking at your embryos. 2 are fair quality, 2 are poor quality. And I said, yes, but all 4 are of worse quality than the last 5 that you guys thought, and 2 of those didn't even survive the thaw, and then the other 3 obviously didn't end in a pregnancy. He's like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, okay. So he was like, why don't we do this? Why don't we ship the embryos? First of all, hello, excellent, we're approved to get the embryos to my clinic and I can use them. Best news ever. But anyways, where was I? Oh, so his idea is my 4 embryos that I have left, to thaw them the day before transfer. The morning of transfer, thaw my 2 donor embryos. And right before transfer, look at all 6 embryos and see which ones are the best. And if it's the 2 donor embryos, which I'm assuming it will be, like, then we'll just transfer both of those and go along our happy way and discard the other embryos that didn't, develop properly. But if not, he said that he's even open to transferring one of my embryos, one of theirs, whatever. Last time we transferred 3, so I don't know what we're gonna do this time. 2, 3. We did 3 last time because none of them were great quality. But this time I'm assuming I'm gonna have 2 really good quality embryos to transfer. So anyways, I just left there feeling really confident. Like, I've never left his office feeling so good and feeling so, like, supported by him, but I feel like it's because I stuck up for myself and I really advocated for myself. So I encourage you to do that too if you're in a weird position with your doctor or if you feel intimidated by your doctor. So anyways, I'm doing a natural frozen embryo transfer, so I literally don't have to take any medicine. Like, it's weird. I was like, so I don't have to take anything? He's like, no. So my next appointment's in 10 days on July 27th for lining and follicle check, just to make sure everything is going okay. And then he said that day to start taking ovulation tests, which I know I don't ovulate till like cycle day 17 or 18. So, but I'll still take them because, I'm a pee on a stick addict. And then probably embryo transfers tentatively like August 8th. August 8th. That's less than a month away. It's 3 weeks away. So excited. So that's all of my update, I believe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I'm real active on my Instagram page, which is KellyandLiz_IVF. And I'll leave a link this time, I hope, to my IVF page on Instagram. But thank you guys so much for following. If you have questions about donor embryos, donor embryo adoption, or what IVF, whatever it may be, just let me know and we'll have a conversation about it. I'll talk to you guys soon.